These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Saturday, May 18th, in between series for the Boston Celtics. Knicks-Pacers has gone 7 games. We're going to talk about that series. Plenty of updates, plenty of other stuff going on. If you're watching on YouTube, Sam looks like Luke Skywalker with the hood on. So, Sam, how are you doing? How are you feeling? What's going on?
I'm feeling less than 100%, to say the least. A little sick, little achy today, but we're here no matter what. That's how this show goes. The robe is nice to put on every once in a while. Who doesn't love a nice robe day? Nice, lazy, rainy Saturday to be inside anyways. And plus, we got some fantastic news last night. I guess on multiple fronts.
We did?
Yeah. Got Kristaps update. Knicks lose.
I don't know if that would be fantastic. Oh, I guess
Better than he's out for the season. That's for sure.
That's true. Anyways, plenty of stuff to discuss, and we will start with Kristaps Porzingis update that Sam just alluded to. Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN reporting that Porzingis is going to miss games 1 and 2, more than likely. Not going to be playing in the first 2 games of the Celtics Eastern Conference Final Series with an opponent to be named later. However, there is optimism that he could return at some point during the series. So that part is positive. The first part is not as great, but I'm kind of okay with it. Based on the way the Eastern Conference Finals are shaping up, you want him to be 100% healthy. This is a very important update, and it sounds like they're working to get Kristaps back at 100%, and that's a good thing.
You don't want to rush him back. What I'll say about this, I saw somebody quote tweet the update and say this is kind of Woj language for he's going to come back for game 3, but they don't want me to tell you guys that he's coming back for game 3 or targeting game 3 as the date. That's why he just says there's optimism he'll return. We've heard optimism from Woj before, and it's usually pretty nails. It usually means that guy will be on the floor. So that's a good thing for the Celtics, who at one point we were all kind of unsure whether or not Porzingis would come back. Now, what I don't like about this, I hate that he has to miss the home games because it could be very difficult should something happen where they don't win at home because of him. Not that we have evidence of it so far in this playoff run. But those are the games I'd prefer not to lose. Those are the games you're supposed to win. So if you lose one of them because you're not healthy, it makes it a little bit more difficult going down the road. That being said, Celtics undefeated, never lost on the road.
This is true. They have never lost on the road. I will also say, in the video we just did, I admitted to the potential advantages of home court advantage. Still don't really care about it as much. Not in terms of bring him back for the home games. Bring him back healthy. I don't care. I know, but winning the games. That's not. I know, but I'm just saying I don't think winning the home games is any more important than winning the road games. You win 4 games in a series. That's just how I look at it. That is what you have to do. Sometimes you're going to lose at home. Sometimes you're going to lose on the road. Win 4 games. Don't care how you get there. If you win 4 games, that's all anyone's going to remember in 20 years from now. And you get there, you get to 16 postseason wins, and that's it. But it sounds like Kristaps could be back for later in the series. I'm really curious to know what it'll look like. I mean, we talked about it from the Isaiah Hartenstein perspective of probably going to get his ass kicked if he's not fully in shape against a guy like Isaiah Hartenstein. But even from the Pacers perspective, those guys play quick. If he's not 100%, he's not going to be able to get up and down the floor with them. So you need Kristaps 100% to play in this series. I think they'll be fine without him for what it's worth. I think the Celtics are a good enough team where they don't necessarily need him, or they shouldn't need him until the finals. But it would be nice to take the second half of the Eastern Conference Finals, fingers crossed, if all goes well, to give him some sort of a ramp-up period so he doesn't have to be just thrown into the fire when the NBA Finals come around, should the Celtics be lucky enough to get there.
I do feel like if you're Al Horford, you're sitting there oh yeah, I'd like Porzingis to come back so I can have a breather a little bit, so I can have less of a burden on me playing all these minutes. He played great game 5, wasn't great in games 3 and 4, really wasn't fantastic throughout the Cavs series, but showed us he's still got his legs, which is the important thing, I suppose. When Porzingis is out, it is unbelievably important that he hits his threes. In the games where he was not playing well against Cleveland, even in game 5, They just started to leave him wide open. I think he's eradicated that probably for the first game at least of the conference finals. But going forward, he still has to make threes. He still has to keep the defense honest because if he's not able to stretch the floor, that's going to make it really difficult on the rest of the team, the stars, to try and drive and kick. Otherwise, you're going to get some bland offense you hate, guys settling for tough shots because they don't want to go to the rim with either Hartenstein or Miles Turner waiting for them, both guys who can block shots at a high rate. It's just something to keep your eyes on. Don't think it's the end of the world. It's good that Porzingis is probably going to be back. It's good that they're taking their time with him and they're not rushing him. I think, if anything, this update clarifies that they are not forcing him to play. They are waiting for him to be ready, and they are keeping his long-term health at the top of their mind.
That's the most important thing with Porzingis, who's dealt with plenty of injuries. He was getting some on-court work done in Cleveland, for what it's worth. He looked all right. He still looked like he was moving a bit gingerly, but it was definitely progress from what we've seen before that. So it does look like he'll be all right. If the Celtics, it is weird because I've kind of forgotten how they play with Porzingis just because we watched like a whole series and a half without him. Like it just kind of weird to think of him in the team. Like I kind of forget he's there half the time. But he does add a whole new level. We spent the entire season saying, oh, look at this super cool post game that the Celtics can go to now. Look at this floor spacing where Tatum can just drive, draw to, and flick it behind his back to a guy who can nail threes 30 feet behind, away from the basket. So you kind of want that in the lineup when you're trying to win a title. Like that would be pretty cool to have. So hopefully he can get back after games 1 and 2. That said, they win games 1 and 2. I'm not complaining you give him an extra day of rest. I'll say it. I'll say it. I'm not complaining. Not saying you do anything bad. I'm just saying if you want to be extra cautious, Celtics could do him a handshake favor if they just take care of business at home. Lob it up to you if you'd like. I mean, that's what you're looking for anyways.
Yeah, but then if you just take care of business in game 3, the remainder of the series should be less stressful and hopefully over quickly.
Yeah. Let him ramp up in game 4.
Even more rest.
Yeah. Exactly.
Game 4, I can get behind.
I'm just saying if they take care of business in game 1 and 2, they can be even more cautious. It's all I'm saying. They can be as cautious as they would like to with Mr. Unicorn. So anyways, speaking of the Eastern Conference Finals, Celtics still don't know who they're going to play because the Indiana Pacers decided to win game 6. Knicks lost. Josh Hart got hurt. Josh Hart with an abdominal strain, going to try to play in game 7, but the Knicks are getting beat up. They're already down OG. Jalen Brunson's playing hurt. Bogdanovich season's over. Josh Hart came with this gnarly tape on his abdomen. Do you see the picture?
No, I didn't see the picture.
I got to find it, but the Knicks are very beat up. The Pacers are the Pacers, and the Pacers might be the most inconsistent playoff team left. they can't find a rhythm away from the floor. Here is the Josh Hart tape job that I was referencing. It looks like he had surgery, but it's
like
just
surgery.
Look at him.
Oh boy.
It's an abdominal strain, but it's just tape all up and down his abs. Knicks are beat up
to show off his stomach.
Pacers are the Pacers. All the people saying the Celtics have an easy pathway, getting ready to say it again, and you know what? It's fine by me. A-okay.
So, if you missed what Jack just said, don't worry. Any Knicks fan you encounter will tell you everyone that they're missing. Not to say it isn't a lot of people because they
and Randall.
Randall,
and
who they
Mitchell Robinson.
tore the poster down.
I did forget Mitchell Robinson too. He's also
they don't get a pass for Randall anymore. I forgot that they tore the poster down last year and we're like shitting on the guy. You don't get to be like, oh yeah, that's the guy we all wanted after you literally ripped his poster down and posted it everywhere and stomped on it. It's like, you didn't want him last year. You weren't happy with him last year. Maybe don't use that as your cop out every single time. OG Anunoby, who they will tell you any chance they get, they were 20-3 with in the regular season. They are without. I'm sure Brunson's feeling the effects of being the only guy that can play on this team and having to drive inside and fall around like Isaiah Thomas did, trying to hang with the trees. Then you mentioned the Pacers being inconsistent. The Knicks are essentially playing Grant Williams ball, but with everybody not named Jalen Brunson. It's like, which one of our guys is going to have a Game 7 Grant Williams performance? And if they don't get it, they don't seem to win. In the first 2 games against Philly, Josh Hart was Grant Williams. Then you had a couple DiVincenzo Grant Williams games sprinkled in there. He had 35 in a playoff game. It's going to be difficult to me, if you ask me, for them to beat the Celtics just because those guys are going to have to show out every single game. Now, as somebody that watched the Celtics lose a playoff series because somebody became Game 7 Grant Williams for the entire series last year,
It's true.
it's not impossible. But these guys are running on fumes. There was all this talk earlier in the series about, they're all running on fumes. Everybody's getting hurt. Josh Hart's playing every single minute of every single game, but he hasn't been hurt yet. Well, the bell chimed. The injury Undertaker came up and got him. And now he has the sick tape on his abs, which still they were losing by a lot. Maybe just wanted to show off his stomach, Knicks fans. It's okay.
Maybe I will say, if it was a closer game, I bet Josh Hart would have played through it.
Yeah. No tape at all.
Yeah. Game 7 is today, as you're listening to this.
We didn't do playback?
3:30.
You want to do playback?
We got a game, brother.
We have a game at 8 at night.
I thought it was 5:30.
I'm gonna double check this.
Maybe. Oh no, I think you're right. I don't know why I had 5:30 in my head.
If we don't have a game,
there is Celtics practice though, so I would need to get home.
Well, the game's not until 3:30.
I know, but you underestimate traffic coming out of Brighton.
Yeah, fine. I'm gonna find in my email, and
I think you're right. Yeah, practice is at quote unquote noon, so I don't know if I'll be back by 3:30, but we'll see.
Ideally, it sounds like a fun idea, but we'll go from there.
If I can, I will. It's just a question mark if I can. My question is, who do you think wins this game? Because the Knicks have been good at MSG, and respect the MSG. I know you don't like the fans, but that place gets buzzing, and I can respect that.
They certainly give them a home court advantage,
but they're very hurt. They are like very hurt. So I don't know, man. You're relying on Alec Burks, who's been good, and Precious Achiuwa, who's been solid for heavy playoff minutes. I don't know if Tyrese Halliburton can get his head out of his ass for a Game 7 performance at MSG. Pascal Siakam's been solid. TJ McConnell's a motherfucker. But Jalen Brunson at MSG, I don't see Jalen Brunson losing at MSG in Game 7. I don't see it.
So we played 8:30. We have the last of the opening round games tomorrow, so we are
cool.
Going to have plenty of time to at least watch this game if we're not.
Is it you, me, John, Tyler Proc?
Worth. Proc and John are the same person.
Yes. I was like, what did I say wrong? Yes, correct. Okay, yeah. That's I meant that when I said John.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. Keep your eyes on the channel or Twitter or something. We'll tell you if we're doing this tomorrow. We would like to. It just depends if the schedule permits, because it'll be a fun watch. I'll get to hate, which is always fun. Can't wait to pray on the Knicks' downfall. I've got some tweets I'm ready to send. Can't wait.
Sorry, I thought you were gonna ask something else. I asked you. I said, "Who do you think will win?" And I said, "I can't see Brunson losing."
I'm sorry. I was focused on figuring out at what time we have to be in the arena.
I said, "I don't think I see Brunson losing a Game 7 at home, but they're hurt."
Well, I think that the Knicks are going to win. Yeah. Truly, I just don't know. We talked about the Pacers being inconsistent, and I feel like that's more of an impact thing than New York being tired, even though they are going to be playing Game 7 less than 48 hours after Game 6. Like, this is a quick turnaround when it comes to the playoffs, less than 2 full days rest. And if there's any team that's going to matter for, it's them. You have Josh Hart dealing with this injury. You have Brunson, who's probably banged up. All these other guys are fatigued playing all these minutes. Maybe it's going to hurt them. If Josh Hart's not at full strength, that's going to hurt them. He's a big fourth quarter offense guy, meaning he gets all their offensive rebounds, him and Hartenstein. He's a menace on the glass. He's getting them extra possessions, and that's one of the way they close these close games that they always seem to be in. This is truly like a toss-up to me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just tough for me to see the Pacers going in there and beating them in New York.
And they should have won Game 1.
But it's true. That's true. I forgot how close that one was. I don't know, man. This going to be a fun one, I think. Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch all the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball, hockey, college basketball entries today on Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. One of our favorite picks here at the How About Them Celtics podcast is the Drew Holiday blocks. It's usually 0.5. He just needs more than 0.5 blocks. That means 1 Drew Holiday block. And that pick is in the bag. Prize Picks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Jalen Brunson's just so good. Like he's unbelievable. I know he's slow. I know he's hurt, but he's nuts. I want to ask you this. Do you think this Knicks team, fully healthy, minus Julius Randle, like this Knicks playoffs team, beats a fully healthy Bucks team in the playoffs?
I don't know. I truly don't know. Milwaukee just wasn't good this season. So I think you have to just look at the evidence and be like, yeah, probably.
Okay.
I thought you were going to ask me the Mark Wilbon thing that was like, or Michael Wilbon thing that was
what is it?
Fully healthy, they would beat the Celtics. No questions asked.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah. It's been going around Twitter. Jalen Brunson, 31 points in game 6.
So stupid. Dude.
11 of 26. That man is just firing.
He's averaging almost as many misses as Tatum is shot attempts. It's crazy.
Except when you watch it doesn't feel like he's missing a lot.
I asked Noah this like last week. She says Jalen Brunson's the top 2 point guard in the NBA. Thoughts? I know you like Jalen Brunson, so I'm okay with asking you this.
I'm fine with him. I'm just trying to think like take a step back.
She said it was Shea than him.
You count Shea as a point guard?
That's what she did.
He's a shooting guard.
I think he's played point guard for a lot of this year. I think any acts as their point guard. So I think
is Jalen Brunson better than Luka?
She said yes.
Jalen Brunson better than Steph?
I don't think so. And no, I don't think so. But she said yes right now. Right now.
Well, probably better than Halliburton because Halliburton's Ben Simmons.
I think he's right now.
Probably.
Right now, he's probably a top 10 player in the league. Right now, currently playing at the level he's playing at, which is crazy to think about. But like he is an engine.
Better than Peyton Pritchard? Probably not. She would have agreed.
You're just true. You're a motherfucker.
She didn't think
I don't know, man.
Probably better than Jamal Murray.
Would you rather see this version of the Knicks or the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals? And usually it's like, oh, obviously the Pacers, but like the Pacers are like one of 3 teams to beat the Celtics twice this year.
They did beat them twice. Beat them in a real game.
There's only so much weight you can put into that, but they did beat them twice. And so I think there is some merit, especially with how hurt the Knicks are.
Celtics also beat the Pacers by 50.
This is true with no Tyrese Halliburton or Siakam. No Halliburton or Siakam.
Let's talk about Siakam.
Sure.
Sitting here thinking about the bubble. Thinking about Jalen.
That was 4 years ago. That was 4 years
ago.
Yeah,
he's supposedly supposed to be in his prime. So it was 4 years ago, and Jalen's better.
And so Siakam. Will you give me that face as if he's not like average, like put up 37-point playoff games and wins? Like you can't do that. Like he's absolutely better, 100%.
Still think Jalen's going to be a tough matchup.
I'm not saying Jalen's not going to guard him, but you can't say Jalen's better than saying, nah, Siakam's worse. Like he's just objectively not.
Does he really strike fear into your heart? Is he a strike fear into your heart guy?
I'm not saying like I think
he's a swing guy.
I'm saying the Celtics should beat both these teams. I'm just saying, would you rather play the Pacers, who beat the Celtics twice, or this version of the Knicks who are hurt? And I think usually the obvious answer is the Pacers, but with how hurt the Knicks are, with Josh Hart struggling, with Mitchell Robinson out, with Jalen Brunson half hurt, like I think it's closer than a lot of people think with the blink of an eye.
They're kind of like fucking around with this OG thing, and they're like, maybe he's going to play. They're giving you the old Ben Simmons. Remember when he was supposed to come back in the Nets series?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know whether to think he would be back for a Celtics series or not. I don't think he would be. I think I stand by. I think his injury looked pretty brutal. Looked like it hurt. Had to come right out of the game. Couldn't walk. Went down after a fast break. Still think he's a good player. Knicks playing a lot of close games. Do you like the Celtics in close games? Honestly,
I think no, but they've been a lot better this year.
OG questionable, upgraded to questionable. We'll go through shoot around.
Interesting. Interesting.
I think I'd rather play the Pacers. I just think they've
I
been
think so
really
too.
inconsistent. I think Halliburton has showed up like he wants to play half the time, and I think the rest of these guys, like Neesmith, has been inconsistent. Nemhard was awful in that game. They hit the game winner before it went in. The most consistent guy might be TJ McConnell.
Now,
And
Sam, I don't
Siakam
know.
can't shoot free throws, by the way.
I just in case you wanted to consider this was a TikTok that went around. I don't know if you saw this.
TikTok,
but
great place for NBA content.
it is an unbiased Knicks fan.
Okay.
So this is the first one.
Yep.
Thoughts?
I'll let you take
Thoughts
this
on
one.
this?
This is
Yeah,
your
so
guy.
this is
And I
a
hate white basketball
comparison.
players, so I would be biased.
This is a conversation or a comparison, excuse me, for audio listeners. Dante DiVincenzo versus Derek White, and they compare them in scoring, passing, 3-pointers, 2-pointers, defense, rebounding, blocks, and overall. Scoring, they give to Dante DiVincenzo. Passing, they give to Dante DiVincenzo. 3-point shooting, they give it to Dante DiVincenzo. 2-point shooting, they give to Dante DiVincenzo. Defense, they give to Dante DiVincenzo. Rebounding is equal. Blocks is equal. And they say Dante DiVincenzo is better than Derek White.
This is going to be a long click through of these slides. These people are the worst people on the planet, terrorists.
This is horrendous. Yes, Dante DiVincenzo is the better defender than the all-defensive player. Sure.
Equal
Next
shot
one.
blocking.
Josh Hart versus Jason Tatum. Scoring, give to Tatum. Oh, that's generous. Passing, Josh Hart. 3-point shooting, equal. 2-pointers, Tatum. Defense, Josh Hart. Rebounding, Josh Hart. Blocks, Josh Hart. Overall, they do give to Tatum.
I'll give him the 3-pointer.
Okay.
I'll give him the 3-point equal.
Next one, Hartenstein versus Porzingis. Scoring, KP. Passing, Hartenstein. 3-pointers, KP. 2-pointers, defense, rebounding, blocks, and overall, all go to Hartenstein. So obviously, very unbiased here.
Very unbiased.
Woof. I still think the Celtics should want to play the Pacers. I think they should beat either of these teams, especially with how injured Jalen Brunson is. And for what it's worth, I think they probably have the best answer to Jalen Brunson that he's seen in the playoffs so far by a long shot. I mean, you look at the perimeter defenders that have been stuck on him. Kelly Oubre actually did a pretty solid job. McConnell's done a solid job. The Celtics have Derek White and Drew Holiday and Brown and Tatum. They have better defenders. The Celtics' top 3 defenders are better than any defender on any of the teams the Knicks have played so far.
I agree. I think the guards they can throw at them are more impressive than anything you've seen. Plus, if you do factor in if they wanted to put Tatum on him, I just think back to the OKC game in OKC where the Celtics looked dead. Celtics looked awful.
Guarded Shea.
Nobody could stop Shea, and he guarded Shea. That's exactly what it was. Like Shea 0 of 3 in the fourth. Tatum was locked in. And even if you just want to run with that in the fourth quarter, right? If you're in a close game with the Knicks and you just have Tatum on Brunson, who else is going to create shots to beat you?
And I saw something that's very true. If you put someone who was talking about it might have been Zach Lowe, when you put Neesmith on Brunson, but then you have if you guard Brunson with Neesmith, that's fine because that's a good place to hide him. But then it's harder for Brunson to run down the other end because Neesmith will already be on him. And that was the best matchup the Pacers have had so far. You know what I'm saying? So that matchup will probably follow him. So, but that's good for the Celtics because if you put Tatum on Brunson, then you run down the other end. Brunson's probably still going to be on Tatum, and that sounds like a pretty good matchup to me.
There's no way they let that happen.
Well, no, but then if they don't, that'll cause a scramble in transition. So Tatum could potentially have a lane. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the counter, another good point to yours.
From a perspective, I would like the Pacers to win because I'll have a lot of fun on Twitter tomorrow. I mean, you can't tell me it wouldn't be hysterical if they've been chanting "We want Boston" since beating Philly one time.
Both teams have chanted it. The Pacers chanted it.
When?
After Game 6, I'm pretty sure. Let me find it.
Well, Game 6 is a little different because they're actually they're up next. They're up next.
What do you mean? What's up next?
They're about to go. The next time they would be at home, they would be playing the Celtics. This is not winning one single playoff
chanting
game.
It in general.
No, chanting it in general is lame and stupid, as we've seen. Let's see. They don't even sound like they believe that.
This reeks of anyone chanting "We want Boston" this year reeks of underdog and we're fucked. Like that's what it sounds like.
It's just like, oh, I mean, they really did not sound like they believe that.
No.
But the Knicks have been doing it since they beat Philly in game 1. Like,
It's true.
how funny would it be if they've been just chanting this for like a month and then it doesn't even happen?
I'm gonna once again just let you dream here. What would a sweep do for you, Sam?
A sweep. They should let me play on the team for a sweep. I would talk so much shit to the crowd. All those John Starks like being in the paint while Tatum dunks the ball because he just can't stay off the court in these home Knicks games would be a little funny. Like he has like the Celtics turn over the Knicks and he has to like scramble off the court. He's like the guy with the broom, clean the sweat off. That's essentially what he's done all playoffs. They just don't have to follow the rules. It's like, oh yeah, you can run on the court. Go ahead. No, these Knicks people are the worst. I would love to see them lose tomorrow. I'd love to see the Celtics kick the shit out of them. Just they have no idea how to behave. They have no idea how to behave. I forget who it was we were talking to. I think it was one of our Celts, and they were like, "Yeah, they just, they're happy to be here." It's like, yeah. Or I think it was Kari talking about like they've had no success, like they should be happy, and I think they should be happy, but there is like there is a behavior part that goes to being happy.
No, I've let you rock with it.
Have some decorum.
Knicks fans are great. Like they're I'm sorry. I know you dislike them because of the way they act, but that is how fans should act. That is how fans should act. They should be behind their team.
They're a little above
no matter
the
what.
line. They're a little too excited.
I don't think there is a line. Too excited for you because you're an opponent. Like, and I get it from your perspective. I get why you hate them, and I don't say you're wrong for that. I 100% get it. But I think that is what they should be doing.
They are such a poverty franchise that they have no idea how to behave when they win. Stand by it.
They back their team no matter what. I respect that. All right. Anyways, next thing before we get into the email, I wanted to say something quickly because by the time you're listening to this, my articles will be out on Celtics blog. I wrote effectively 6 features, or one like general article that links to the rest. But I wrote about 5 of the Celtics player development coaches: Jermaine Buckner, Craig Lushanat. I think it's Lushanat or Lushanat. Apologies, Craig. Phil Pressey, Ross McMains, and Tyler Lashbrook. I talked about their stories, their journeys. I'll give you a little preview here just to get you to go read them. It should be up by 8 a.m. on Sunday. So unless you're listening to this in the 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. window, it should be up on CelticsBlog.com right now. Jermaine Buckner is a legend in Germany, in Trier, Germany. He's like a god in this city because he devoted his life to the franchise. His story is incredible, and his number is retired on the court now because of just how amazing it was. He had like meetings with the mayor. He had all a bunch of cool stuff to go down just because of how great a guy he is. So go read that. Craig is a Boston product. He was born in Boston, played for Andover High School, and then he worked in Maine. And so he sort of worked his way up the ranks. Super hard worker, great guy. Says hi to me every time I'm by the court. Awesome dude. His story is awesome. Went through Maine, up in Boston now. Tyler played in high school in Kentucky and then was a blogger. He wrote for SB Nation and Fansided, and then he made his way up the NBA ranks after sending emails to various NBA teams in a stop in Philly. And now he's here, came over at the same time as Sam Cassell. I assume they came together, but with him. So his story is great. Phil Pressey, you guys all know, played for the Celtics, and then he played overseas for a while. He actually was playing as recently as 2022. Like he's been playing still, just internationally. Stopped in Missouri. I talked to Jared Sullinger for that. I talked to Micah Shrewsbury, former Celtics assistant, for that. Had all great things to say. He's just a really genuine dude, and that has sort of propelled him into these opportunities. He's awesome. And the reason he's going to stick with it is because of how hard he works. And Ross McMains is a fucking basketball genius. Everybody I've talked to him, he's been coaching since he's 18. He had like an internship with the New Zealand Breakers, or a video position with the Breakers at like 18 years old, right out of high school. He's been coaching forever. Super cool stories there. He made the first basket of the millennium. He just loves basketball, and he's an awesome guy. So go read those features. Those are going to be out on Celtics blog now. I'd appreciate it very much. I don't plug much often, but it's been a while. I've been working on this for a long time.
Jack has been killing himself doing this. He transcribed over 30,000 words of quotes. He made sure all of the information is there for you guys. All of the storytelling is there for you guys. Like he mentioned, he had some great interviews. Obviously, Sellinger, Shrewsbury, who's now the Notre Dame head coach. Some other ones in there that you didn't mention. I'm not gonna pull them out there if you don't want people to know. But he did a really, really good amount of work on this. So you guys should go check it out. Celtics blogs the shit. They have plenty
They're
of
already
good
on the
stuff
front
up there.
page. All
It's
going to be on
already
the
up.
front page, I believe. Yes, sir.
Perfect. Hey, gang, let me tell you a little something about Game Time. The NBA playoffs have arrived. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Who doesn't want to get in on the fun? With Game Time, you can experience it with your own eyes. Get yourself great seats to games with even greater prices. That's right. You can save when getting your tickets with Game Time. It's an authorized ticket marketplace of the NBA, which makes getting those playoff tickets even faster and easier. Plus, the prices on Game Time usually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. Who doesn't love to save a little bit of money? I certainly do. I used Game Time back in March when I took the lady to a game. We went to see the Celtics play our Pistons, and it was great. I could look and see what the seat view would be just using the app. Didn't have to be surprised when I showed up. Plus, you do get those last-minute deals. They have the flash deals and zone deals. Zone deals, which you can choose a section of the arena and let Game Time choose those seats. You'll save a little bit of money that way. You can download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it very much. All right, let's go to y'all's emails now. A reminder, as always, make sure to email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. We would appreciate it very much. We always love hearing from you. So here are the emails. Lots from RJ, one from Philip. RJ, what's popping? Hold on to the rope, but not too tightly. Evening, guys. Hey, look at that. The Celtics beat their opponent 4-1 and moved on to the next round of the playoffs. Ho-hum. We knew it was going to happen, even more so after learning Karis LeVert was joining D. Mitch and Jared Allen on the injured list. What was interesting was seeing how the Celtics chose to play in this deciding game. In years past, the motto was number 1 seed kicks the living crap out of the underrated 4 seed, and fans would have been treated to a 30-point lead in the third quarter as the stars played with intensity and flex for the highlight reels. Then bench players would get some minutes in the final frame to build up their own video footage. A recent example of this was the Celtics' November 1st game against Indiana. These Celtics don't overheat the engine unless they need to. Game 5 was never going to be wire-to-wire maximum effort game. We all knew it, which in years past, or game 2 of the series, made Celtics fans nervous. But this game, Boston won the final 3 quarters after tying the first. The spread in each were 0-6-1-8 for a convenient 15-point victory. Cavs played to the best of their effort, and the Celtics kept a comfortable grip on the rope all the way throughout. No one had either a great or abysmal stat line for the C's, for one exception. Al Horford was 6 of 13 on threes. Ageless Al, I should say. 8 of 15 overall for a line of 22 points, 15 rebounds, 7 offensive, 5 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks. Yes, Darius Garland got by him, but for 2s rather than Mitchell and his barrage of 3s. Boston won. They get some rest and wait for Kristaps to heal up. National media will try to hype up something about the Celtics. Maybe they aren't tying their shoes tightly enough. I don't know. In the meantime, I'll enjoy a good night's rest. Be well, and let's win this thing. RJ. W. I like this perspective. I'm a fan. Are you not a fan? Oh.
Well, I agree with a lot of it, but the maximum effort, it should just always be a maximum effort. And I don't know if that's what he was trying to say. Like, I don't think the Celtics were not trying, but they weren't like emptying the tank. And
yeah,
I don't think we should present it as they weren't trying, because I actually thought we saw, I mean, he shouted out Horford, but Horford injected life into the building and the team because he tried. I think you saw them kind of sleepwalk through the first half, and then he got everybody up.
Mm-hmm.
But, he looked good, and he had to get the energy in the building. We talk a lot about the home crowd, and these guys have to play with energy at home. And I know it's twofold, and I think the crowd needs to give them energy too. But these fans, whether it's ticket prices, not trusting the team's shaky home record, boredom, are not as engaged as they always have been. Game 5 is different than what I just said. They were. Horford got them going. But that's what I think we should all want to see going forward in the playoffs. I thought you got a good team victory in game 5. for what it's worth.
Mhm.
Like RJ's got a good point. I think Jalen only taking 9 shots and still being really effective is awesome. 7 assists for Jalen because he just was like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to go up on 5 people. I'll kick it out.
Mhm.
Perfect.
I don't think it's necessarily not giving full effort. I think it's just not overexerting yourself. And I think you can be full effort without going like a million miles an hour, if that makes sense. Like you can pour your effort into the game without, running the same play every time, running the exact set that will get you a point, breaking it down. Like you can be maximum effort without overheating. And I think that's sort of what the Celtics are doing. The Celtics are going to do everything they need to win. They're not going to do everything they need to win by 30. They're going to win the game. Like that is their only goal. They don't care how they win. They don't care how much they win by. They don't care realistically. I don't think they'd give a shit if they won the series in 6 rather than 5, but they're going to do everything in their power to win every game. Exactly. Are they going to mess up? Yeah. Like there's no undefeated team in the playoffs. Like that just never fucking has that ever happened? I don't think that's ever happened, right? No one's ever gone 16-0.
The Lakers went 15-1. That's as close as it's gotten.
The Warriors went 16-1, right? Didn't they go 16-1 in?
Yeah, they had a 1 lost run.
Yeah, but like no team's ever going to be undefeated unless and only like the best teams ever lose one game. So it's going to happen. But I think the Celtics, like you outlined in an article earlier this season, bend don't break. That's what the Celtics did in Game 5, and it got them a comfy win.
It's very, very true. I mean, you even saw instances in this game that it was like, oh yeah, down 6. All right, everybody lock in, push, get back ahead before the break. This game was just a big time bend without breaking game. And the real theme of the playoffs has been that too, I think. So it's just what the identity of this team has been. It's just tough to like take the emotions out of it sometimes and see that.
Definitely. That's how it goes. Next email from, let me go to the tab. Excuse me, Philip. With love and respect, fellas, it's been a couple weeks since I wrote in, but there's a growing annoyance this time of year. It's pissing me off more than usual. The national media. With love and respect to them all, they need to shut the fuck up or do some homework before speaking on a team or player. Ignorant, lazy, old takes are a symptom this time of year. The corners of national media that normally only cover the Lakers and Cowboys suddenly show up and start vomiting pseudo-informed opinions about teams they do not watch. The broadcasts are a minor annoyance at times, but in the news talk world, this is the flood season for utter bullshit takes. The only silver lining is that I think Celtics players themselves are probably better off being infuriated, by the media than overhyped. Best, Phil. I think the best part is Celtics don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
they do not care.
The punch.
Yeah, these Celtics.
That
is my favorite thing about the Celtics team. They don't give a shit about anything.
Maybe Tatum cares a little bit.
Well, I don't think he does. Like he was directly asked, "What do you think of the media?" He goes, "I respect your job, but I disagree with some of the stuff sometimes." But basically, he's like, "Yeah, like whatever." And I think like no player is ever going to not care at all. Like you're human. Everyone's gonna see it. But the Celtics have carried themselves in a way this season where narratives and other stuff does not even like come close to affecting the way they play on the floor. And that's awesome. And I think a lot of that is Joe, and credit to him.
I'm sure Phil is just sick and tired of seeing it on his timeline on Twitter or Facebook, wherever it may be. But you can always just not consume that stuff because, I mean, there's a billion podcasts. You have like this one, and then you have other NBA podcasts that are national that are legitimately good. Like, I mean, I always enjoy listening to Bill Simmons. I think him and Rusilla do a bang-up job on Sundays when they just recap the weekends, talk about everything. They watch a ton of basketball at the Ringer, so it's a good place to get information. I think JJ Redick always does a pretty good job too. Like there are plenty, Zach Lowe, like all these guys, they do a tremendous job of actually talking hoops. Just don't watch the halftime shows. That's going to make you want to put your head in the microwave.
Yeah, definitely. National
media always listen to us.
Questionable.
Because I watch every single game.
We're here.
I watch all the games.
We're here for you. Let's pop and return to virtual August. Morning, guys. Well, here we are again. The Celtics have advanced to the next round of the playoffs, and it's time to play the Where's Out content. There's actual newsworthy lines. KP's returned to the starting lineup, and Cassell's are out in the coaching carousel. Sam Cassell, by the way, who said he would like to be a head coach. I saw that somewhere that he wants to be
I did.
Coach, so.
John Wall. John Wall's podcast.
Oh, he said that he went on John Wall's podcast?
I believe so.
That's kind of sick. Are both dependent on factual updates, so I won't speculate idly about them. We'll know when we know. That said, let's play the guessing game of when will Joe remember he has this guy on his bench and try to figure out when the new bus one boys. O'Shea Brissett, more likely stay ready guy to see minutes either for energy against the Pacers or rebounding boost against the Knicks. Svi oddly is named as moved up the roster called towards the end of the regular season. His tweener bulk and 3-point shot might prove helpful against the Knicks if Joe wants to burst at the end of the quarter. Jaden Springer, think of him as O'Shea for the guard time. He could provide a useful burst of energy, defensive energy inside the Knicks, or they're all Villanova all the time squad of the Pacers and their jackrabbit-like guards. Nimish Keita, I can see Nimi getting a little time against Miles Turner as he matches well in terms of bulk, size, and mobility. Jordan Walsh, I admit this one is a reach, but if the C's wanted to throw a box in one, quote, curveball at the Knicks, Jalen Brunson has the size, length, or I assume he meant Jordan Walsh, and expendability to go for a few minutes to try to disrupt Brunson's flow. Walsh has shown that he understood how to play the Celtics version in their pace and space offense, and he wouldn't be a liability there. Again, a stretch. I handed a note with the what about Xavier Tillman, but I have no memory of anyone that by that name ever being on the team. Last note for y'all. Well, it's been fun. All good things come to an end. This will be my last what's poppin' email for a while. Not to worry, everything's good. Just got to focus on other things. Be well and let's win this thing, RJ. Well, thank you, RJ. We appreciate you. I don't think any of these guys are going to play.
Not playing. Even Tillman probably isn't playing. Joe has just been a circle of trust guy. I think that's where we've landed now, and I don't think Tillman is in the circle of trust. And you can be like, why didn't you play Tillman after the All-Star break when they traded for him? And that's valid, but he just didn't. I don't think he has a big enough sample size with how they can use Tillman to the best, whether or not they want him shooting threes. Like, I just don't know if he's got Joe's trust yet. And in the playoffs, in the past, we've seen that be a real factor last year. Hauser, who was a big part of the team this year, didn't play in the playoffs. Cornette barely got any minutes in the playoffs, and he's been asked to take on a huge chunk this year.
He's been great. He's been
great. And when he played real minutes the regular season, he's been great too. So he earned Joe's trust.
I cannot
Tillman,
wait.
Only game winner on the team, though. So in fairness to all the angry people.
I cannot wait for maybe Pacers fans, but particularly Knicks fans, should they play the Celtics, to be like, why the fuck is Luke Cornette doing this? What do you mean he's getting like that's gonna be amazing. I love that. I'm very excited. Yeah, he did. I was watching King the fourth quarter, and he's like, Luke Cornette didn't take a three this year because he's like, this guy always took threes. And he's like, he took one for one, baby. All right, last email, or we get a couple more, I should say. All right, well, never mind. With love and respect, does Brad buy up in this year's draft? Hey, folks, I hope y'all didn't think I'd run out of things to say. It's just a time for a new subject line. You got us. Okay. I know we've all gotten used to the sight of Brad Stevens turning one pick and 5 later picks, but given how flat this draft is, do you think there's a possibility the Celtics moving up to get a player they want in the mid-first round? No, I'm not caping for Zach Edey, just legit curious if Brad throws a curveball before Joe does. Happy virtual August. Be well and let's wing this thing. Maybe. I don't think so, though. I think they'll just pick at 30, grab a guy under a team-friendly contract, and then move from there. I think.
I don't think they're going to move up. I mean, first and foremost, this draft isn't that deep. Or let me rephrase that. This draft isn't considered to be one of the better drafts. So I think a lot of front offices will be hesitant to move up. I also think Brad Stevens.
Maybe that's where Brad strikes. Maybe that's where he strikes.
He zigs when everyone else zags. But this is like a Brad Stevens move where we've seen he wants to bring in guys he can keep on the friendliest of deals because he wants to stay as cap friendly as possible. They're paying all of the top guys. He's indicated that he wants to pay Derek White. So in order to be able to do that and still field a team, you have to draft well. You have to pick guys that aren't going to make a lot of money. And if you pick in the second round picks are not bad. They're not. I don't love them as oh my God, look at all the second round picks team has to get excited. But there have been plenty of great players picked in the second round. And if the Celtics are willing to develop them, you have spots you're going to have to fill eventually. Luke Cornette, free agent this summer, played really well anytime he's gotten real run. They're either not going to bring him back or have to pay him a little bit. Sam Hauser's got one more year of making McDonald's money to play for the Celtics. They're going to need somebody to fill his role. Peyton Pritchard, thankfully, is under contract for a while. Al Horford's, if they win, does he retire? Maybe. I don't think he's out of gas, but he might be like, okay, I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. I don't need to do this anymore. you're going to eventually need more bodies to come off your bench and play minutes. Whether you get them through the draft or it's Tillman and Jaden Springer, who are both guys that I think down the line could step in to a little bit of an extra minute role. But right now, how many guys on this team do you think it's going to be long term? Those guys I mentioned are not going to be under contract.
I think at the very least, you probably have to decide between Cornette, Tillman, Nemi. Maybe just bring back two of them. Maybe bring back, you know what I'm saying? Like, probably not the best use of the
Cornette till I
roster,
die.
all the bigs. I agree. I'm with you. I like Tillman too, but Cornette's that guy. All right. Last email, RJ again. Jesus Christ. With love and respect, a team only ball nerds could love. If you'd like to, I'll zoom it up for you. Here you go. Hold up.
All right. Morning, folks. Time for a little trip down memory lane. Late 70s, Mr. Hutchinson trigonometry and analytic geometry at my high school. He had a dry sense of humor, and every so often when he was talking or walking us through a proof, he would pause and tell the class with awe, "Look at how beautiful that is." We all thought he was sarcastic, nuts, or both, but we had to pass the class, so we didn't say anything. We just nodded and kept taking notes. 1985-86, Larry Bird was an assassin on the court, but he wasn't a ninja. He could put an opponent down with a no-look pass, a hustle put-back basket, or a called it buzzer beater. And when Bird put you down, you knew it. McHale could run a clinic in the low post with a move after move after move until his defender looked silly. Robert Parrish rejected shots and made his trademark rainbow jumper. All of these were very visible, outstanding basketball plays. 2022-23, whether it was Marcus Smart diving on the floor or D. White drawing charges or Rob Williams dunking from the stratosphere, along with making some incredibly quick passes, last year's team gave some great highlights that could run a 6-second slot on SportsCenter or get retweeted. Like the 86 squad, they did things that, at a glance, looked impressive as hell. But for whatever reason, injuries, or they just hadn't unlocked a particular level, last year's squad did not possess a quality the 86 team could flex in almost at will. In addition to the highlights, that the 86 squad also had a way of going from being down by 1 point and 3 minutes later, they were up by 8, and you would go, wait, what happened? Nothing fancy, just a string of stops and makes that came from playing good, consistent, high-level ball. It would come in spurts and usually ended with the opposition taking a timeout to figure out what the hell had happened. Coach Mazzulla built this year's squad on creating and winning those runs play after play, night after night. Maintain proper spacing, make the extra pass, play good team defense. Nothing that leads the sports segment on the local news, but it is appreciated by assistants who break down videos and other basketball nerds. You know the sort, podcasters. Why did I mention Mr. Hutchinson? Well, by the end of the school year, we not only learned trig and analytic geometry, we started seeing the beauty he talked about. It was there all along. We just didn't know, spot it, and appreciate it. And I think that's why the Celtics fans in the Garden have been kind of quiet. They'll get there. It just takes time. Be well and win this thing. RJ, who had Mr. Hutchinson on the original Celtics West squad. He could ball too. I think to go back to the quietness in the winning the runs aspect of this, Joe talked to you guys about that a little bit in the Zoom yesterday. He's saying how they watch all these other NBA teams and they study the rest of the league to figure out how do other teams win runs, go on runs, put a stop to runs, win games, lose games. He wants to observe as much as he can so he can use all of that cumulative information to make beautiful basketball. And I think he's such a psycho that he's the perfect head coach for the Celtics. And this team in particular, he's been a fantastic head coach for because they've just bought into the mindset stuff. He's somebody that, for real, wants them to stay committed to winning, doesn't really care about the outside stuff. And a lot of these guys have sacrificed and bought into it because of him, at least partly. So he deserves some credit, especially after being on the guillotine last spring.
I said it a million times. The Celtics are boring. They're just a boring team because they just win. They're just good. They just do their job. They don't do anything flashy, and they win. And they win by a lot usually. And when they lose, it's the end of the world because they're so good and it's so usual that they win. But like, shit happens. Losing happens. And at this point in the year, as long as you don't lose 4 games in 7, you're fine. And the Celtics have taken care of business so far, done a good job. I'm confident. We'll see what they can do. It's obviously not going to be a walk in the park. Joe Mazzulla said, takes what it takes. And I think that's the important mindset to have at this time of the year. So also ignore my washed out lighting for the NBA section YouTube viewers. I'm sitting back. I'm sitting back a little bit. Anyways.
You're enjoying putting your feet up.
I am. All right, let's go to the NBA. Let's start with Wolves Nuggets. The Nuggets, who were alive and then dead again a little bit. 3-3.
They can't decide whether they want to be dead or alive. I'm getting sick and tired of this Nuggets team.
When the Nuggets lose, they lose bad. They dropped 70 points in an NBA game in game
They
6.
lost by 45 fucking points in game 6.
Speaking of 45, Ant had 45, right? Did he have 45?
Did he have 45 in the game, or they just kept plastering the 45 number because that was the score difference?
Maybe I just saw 45 everywhere. Anthony Edwards had, drum roll please. Let's see. Let's take drum roll was too soon. No, I lied. He had 27. I just saw 45 somewhere else. He had 27. McDaniel said 21. Karl Anthony Towns and Rigo Bear combined for 27 rebounds. And then Jokic decided to score 22 on 9 of 19, and nobody else helped him. Jamal Murray was 4 of 18.
You know, it's a rough game when Jokic isn't getting assists.
Yep. He only had 2. Or no. He had 2. Yikes.
He's probably heated after. I know he seems like a good teammate guy, but you know, inside he was like, "Come on, man, trying to have a day off to watch the horses on Sunday."
You think Denver gets it done in 7?
I think so.
Me too.
It's really weird to be like, yeah, I think that team that lost by 45 is good for a game 7 win. But I don't know. Their game is just typically so under control.
Mm-hmm.
One thing you can point at is I don't think Murray has been great in this playoff run.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of inefficient games. He's made big shots.
Been hurt a little bit.
People kind of pat him on the back, and the injury factors into it as well. But if the Nuggets are going to be firing at all cylinders, these guys have to make shots. That's the whole draw of Jokic, is you can't commit a double to him because he's going to find the right guy who's going to make the open look. The open looks aren't going in. You can double them. You can make all the aggressive defensive plays.
They were
then on the other hand,
7 of 36 from 3, 19%.
Brutal.
Woof.
And they don't even shoot a lot of threes. That's one thing about Denver is they do a great job of cutting off of him and getting to the spots so they can make the easy ones instead of having to rely on the variance.
30% from the floor. 30% from the floor.
30% from the floor is not going to do. They made 26 of 86. Throw up in your mouth stuff. Meanwhile, on the other end, Mike Conley comes back and everyone's like, yeah, this guy is the reason why the Timberwolves run.
Yep. And
Mike Conley has been this is why the team is playing well guy for the last couple seasons. Like, remember when he was in Utah, and Utah kind of got off to that, oh my God, they're above 500 start, and then they traded him because they obviously didn't want to be very good, or he got hurt and then things kind of fell off, and then they traded him to Minnesota. Well, turns out when you plug that guy back in the lineup, his decision-making and somewhat defense that he's still able to play at his old age help. And then you have Ant, who's a psychopath, and apparently, he fell on his ass in this game, so we actually don't know if that's going to affect him. He fell on his tailbone pretty bad.
He hurt? Okay.
I mean, he still played and stuff, but it took him a while. It took him a commercial.
You know all the people that were like, the Celtics run is so easy, what the heck? Imagine in just some hypothetical world out there, it's Pacers Mavs in the next 2 rounds.
Getting to beat Kyrie in the finals.
The team, they smoked the Mavs this year. They killed them.
Smoked them twice. Yeah.
KP gets his revenge.
That fat fuck Luka breathing heavy. Bitching at the refs.
Man.
Yeah. But I sent you the graphic of you know how NBA does the highlights on YouTube and they have like the 2 faces, whoever scored the most on the graphic,
Jokic,
and it's just somebody did fat face to him and Jokic, and they're like, we're so close.
So close. But yeah, I think we forgot to put the NBA background on.
We realized it at the exact same time.
I think the Nuggets will win in 7, but we shall see. Speaking of Mavs-Thunder, Mavs have taken a 3-2 lead. By the time you're hearing this, that game, it will either be series tied or Mavs up because the game is tonight. As we're recording this, I think the Mavs win the series.
Yeah, it feels like that. Feels like the inexperience is catching up to OKC. It just feels like, even though coming into the series, I really felt like they had the depth to kind of hang with Dallas. Dallas is getting some good production out of the other guys, and that's moving the needle. I mean, PJ Washington's been unbelievable in this playoff series, and it's really helping them get past
whole playoffs.
OKC. And OKC lost a home game. It lost 2 home games now as a 1 seed.
It just
in a good environment, by the way.
Yeah. It feels like OKC is missing one more piece. Like they had to bench Josh Giddey because it wasn't like the shooting was holding them back. They threw Isaiah Joe in, but Isaiah Joe, for as good a shooter he is, it's like he's not the best. Like feels like they really fumbled a chance at this deadline, like not doing anything. Hayward's been asked. Hayward's about to break a record for most minutes played in the playoffs without a point.
Oh no!
Yikes!
Sounds like another person I know. You.
Oh, me? Oh yeah, I haven't scored in a men's league. I was like, what? Yeah, no,
Assault.
man. I think Luka played a good game 5, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I feel like they can get this done. I feel like
Well,
I
I
don't know
mean,
if it'll be tonight or game 7, but
if
it
you're
feels like they can
OKC,
do
it
it.
doesn't really help that Jalen Williams is J-Dub is shooting 40.8% from the field, 31% from 3 when he was
Not
one of the
great.
main offensive pillars you had this season. Chet
Not great.
25% from 3 in this series. Josh Giddey 21% from 3 in this series. Like
Mavs defense has been cooking low key. Like they've been good. They've been a
yeah,
lot better.
Shea's getting his at an efficient clip. I think he's less efficient than he was in the regular season because he was like 54% from the field, but he's still right around 50% from the field, 46% from 3. The rest of these guys, they're going to make shots. A lot of them do not look like they want to take jumpers.
It's tough, man. It's tough. Anyways, next thing, the Cavs are deceased. So after the Celtics beat them in the second round of the playoffs, Shams had an article ready. Saying that they like JB Bickerstaff, so he'll probably stay, but also saying that
no, I thought they said they're going to have to reevaluate whether he's going to coach the team in the coming days.
Oh, maybe, but I know there was a tweet that came out right after the game that said they like him.
Okay, because I saw that they may have to reevaluate, and I was like,
maybe they will. They definitely will.
How is any of this on him?
They think they can re-sign Donovan Mitchell, but at the same time, if Donovan Mitchell does resign, Darius Garland will want to leave. So there's that. Brian Windhorst is reporting that they are going to look to shop Jared Allen as well. It's a mess. They're a mess. They're over. It's over in Cleveland.
The Cavs, who every time you do a 2K sim win like 5 championships.
Oh yeah, they're
no longer gonna be a
nasty in
team.
2K. Yeah, they're
Darius
nasty
Garland
in 2K.
is like the greatest 2K player in the Sims of all time.
Mobley,
he
too.
Apparently doesn't want to be on this team anymore. Is it like maybe I'll go get traded and play with Wemby thing? Doesn't make sense. I feel like Darius Garland doesn't have the power right now to be like, I don't want to be on this team anymore. Like, I don't know. You just played like shit in the playoffs. I don't think everybody's clamoring to be like, give us that Garland guy. I think I'm going to give you our whole future.
If I'm the Spurs, I want him.
Spurs
That's nasty.
Might. Yeah, I mean, they're in like it's going to be teams like the Spurs. It's not going to be teams that think they need one more guy.
I do think Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland is a pretty small backcourt. It's very tiny.
Too.
Yeah, a little bit. Just like I don't love Mobley, Jared Allen. Like I don't know. Like it just
another
seems
nice
like
example of Rich Paul and the boys getting their grubby hands over an NBA team.
I just think they threw it together so hastily. Like I would have rather them just rock with Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, let that blossom a little bit, and then get a piece you think could complement them. And I respect them for going for it. And they made a couple playoffs, but they have one playoff series win in 2 years because of it. Just doesn't feel like where they wanted to be after 2 seasons, especially with Donovan Mitchell's future like riding on their success. And I'm not saying they needed to win a championship, but like an Eastern Conference Finals berth would have been nice, or at least winning a playoff series in both years. You know what I'm saying? Showing the progress. Just an injury's got in the way, but it's just I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's conducive.
There was this part of the report, or I think Chris Fedor put it out from The Athletic.
Yeah,
and was like, "Hey, tensions are weird with Mitchell in the locker room," and he was like, "Nope, no, they're not."
Yeah, Chris Fedor's Cleveland. I think he's Cleveland.com, but he said,
bad.
"No, you're good." I think I remember that. And yeah, Mitchell tweeted out, "This is Cap," that he was mad there with the immaturity of the locker room. I think was how it phrased. So they're dead.
Sounds like the other star that was in Cleveland for a while.
There you go.
Never his fault.
Last thing for NBA. Inside the NBA, Sam, you think it's not dead, and I think it is dead.
Yes. So if you don't know, there's a ton of negotiations happening now. There are reports trickling out that Turner is dead. Turner is not going to have the NBA going forward. It's going to be NBC. And with that, you lose Inside the NBA. And Inside the NBA will not be the studio show anymore. However, I feel like whatever network it does happen to be, NBC, Amazon, something, because there's all this talk about streaming services getting in on all the fun, is still going to have a studio show. Charles Barkley's going to get paid. Kenny Smith will get paid. Shaq will get paid. Ernie is the question mark. And Ernie is an absolute massive part of this show. He's the point guard. He's pulling the strings. He's the host, obviously. But you're still going to have some variation of this show. It's not completely dead. It might not be the same. But
So
it doesn't sound like Ernie wants to leave Turner.
Yeah,
to
May
indicate why.
May 3rd, on the Dan Patrick Show, Charles Barkley said, Charles Barkley told us that if TNT loses the NBA TV rights, he'll become a free agent. He's unsure about inside the NBA moving forward to another network because the show wouldn't be the same without Ernie Johnson. Ernie said he isn't leaving Turner. A decision is expected today, and I'm pretty sure it sounds like NBC is going to win that battle. That sounds to me like I'm open to the idea, but like if Ernie's not there, I'm just gonna be a free agent and do whatever who pays me the most. And maybe somebody pays a lot of money for him, Kenny, and Shaq to stay together, but maybe one, network throws a lot at Shaq. Maybe one throws a lot at Charles. Maybe one throws, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially
power rank them, the three guys,
in terms of who will get the most money.
Just who's best on air.
Best on air.
Who do you think
Chuck's
is like
best
the
on air.
best to listen to? Yeah,
Chuck. Chuck's funny. And then Shaq, and then sorry, Kenny.
You think Kenny's last? I think Shaq's just miserable.
Oh, really?
I
think
mean,
he's funny.
anytime you see Shaq, it's just, this guy would have never made it in my day.
From an entertainment value, I think Shaq's better. I think if you're talking like real analysis, then it's a different question. But sorry, I had to cough. It's just not the same without Ernie. Like, it's just not going to be the same without Ernie Johnson. And so I think if Ernie is not leaving with them, inside the NBA is dead. 100%. This version, at least.
I wonder who else they could plug in. Not that
What's that
those
guy's
guys...
name? The guy who does it from time to time when Ernie's not there. I forget his name.
Lefko?
Yeah, Adam Lefko. He's good. I like him. He's cool.
Fine. But he's still like part of Turner. I mean, I'm sure
Exactly.
somebody else would be like, come work for us. And he'd be like, okay. What other hosts would be great at that?
I don't know, man.
NBC have anybody? They don't have a lot of games. I don't know.
Anyways,
Brian Anderson gone. Are we back?
Somebody will hire him.
I'll say this. I don't think Brian Anderson's very good. Whoever they had on these games in the conference finals was atrocious.
Who was it?
It was Greg Anthony and some other guy. It was definitely like team 4. Like it was the D team.
Greg Anthony. Was it TNT?
Yep.
Let me see. Greg
He's
Anthony.
getting a little too excited for some Cavs baskets in Game 5. By the way.
Say that again.
He was getting a little too excited for some of these baskets in Game 5 from Cleveland.
Michael Grady. Does that sound right to you?
Nope, that's not him.
Oh. All right. Let me look at announcers because now I want to know. Now I'm curious. So bear with me here, chat. Yeah. I'm just gonna go to announcer schedules on Twitter and scroll back to the Celtics Cavs game. I remember seeing clips and it was in the voice that I didn't recognize. So I suppose that makes some sense, but I just don't know who it was.
It's probably just a product of me hating everything that's different, but
probably Sparodidis.
Yeah, that's him.
Not good.
Wasn't
Not
my favorite listen.
Gotcha.
Wasn't my favorite.
All right.
Listen.
Noted. All right. Shall we go to the rat list?
We can go to the rat list.
Would you like to start?
Yeah.
That's the wrong background. Here we go.
I'm gonna do rat list. Rat list is a movie I saw, so I'm not going to spoil anything in the movie. But I went to see The Strangers yesterday, and it's called Strangers Chapter 1. So I suppose this might make sense. But the movie just ends on a cliffhanger. It's like when I saw Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
And it was
Chapter
like
1.
half a movie.
Chapter 1.
Just release the whole movie. Just put out an intermission or something.
Are you gonna go watch Chapter 2?
When it comes out, I'll probably go see it. But
exactly. So fuck you. They got your ass.
Yeah, they got my ass. But if they just made a full movie and then made a sequel, I think I would also go see it.
More people probably go to see a part 2 than a sequel if there's a cliffhanger. Unfortunately, I agree with you.
Just no
I agree with
resolution.
you, man.
I
Yeah.
was like, what the fuck?
That is whack. I do
I
like
want to
it.
know
I
what was
dislike
going
it.
on. You just got no hints.
I got
That's the
hit with
best
that on
part
a
of going to
TV
the movie.
show the other day.
Yeah, but TV shows are different. TV,
I
unless it
know,
was
but
the end
now
of the
I gotta.
season. But even then, like it's meant to be like watch the next episode.
I know,
It's
but now I
next
gotta wait a week, and I'm not. But I'm not gonna. I know I'm not gonna watch it next week. I'm gonna forget, and I'm just never gonna know. But whatever. Ratless the rain. I went out golfing today. It wasn't supposed to rain. Rained the whole time. Miserable. It was genuinely the least fun I've had golfing since I was a kid. Horrible. Terrible experience. I was freezing. It was a terrible day. I played like shit. I couldn't hit the ball. Oh my god, it was awful.
Do you have to
Fuck
pay in
the rain.
advance?
No, I paid when I got there. We still went out, and because it was
Why would
supposed
you
to
go?
pass. The rain was supposed to pass. It was supposed to pass the whole fucking day. And once we were out there, well, also, why would I still go? When else am I supposed to golf? I don't have any other fucking time to do it. So I'm going to take advantage when I have the one free day of a 2-week span to do something with my friends. But it just rained the whole time. It was fucking terrible.
I love that you texted me and you were like, terrible time, rain, playing like ass, gonna snap a club.
Almost snapped a club. I did.
Almost snapped a club.
Almost did. Almost did. Controlled myself though. So sorry. Terrible.
I'm gonna do rat list. I mean, rat list being sick. I like being sick, but this is a bad day for me to be sick because I had things to do. Like I had plans later that I really don't want to back out on because I kind of like made them. Had to do the show. Not that doing the show is difficult. All you got to do is sit in a chair. But I would have liked lay down, watch a movie all day. I also wanted to run today. Probably would have went out if it didn't rain. But my sickness was like, maybe don't go out in the rain. So there's that wrinkle to it. Bonus rat list. Rat list. I'm sick and tired of the national takes, just like Phil is. I'm sick and tired of people talking about the Celtics. Like, I don't know. You have like a whole Celtics beat, and like I know that halftime shows have to talk about something. But if you're like a casual fan, you want to learn more, like listen to shows like this or Locked On with John or Still Potable or First to the Floor. Like all these people are watching every game, at every single game. They're surrounding the team. That's where you should get your information from, your opinions, your takes.
Definitely.
Like, we're paying attention. Those people aren't paying attention. It's just remarkable to me that some of these people, I get there is a value to being like experienced, having sources like Woj should be on the shows. But like, you want people that are credible, but they don't watch the games. Like they don't actually do the work. Like Stephen A is a great personality, but he clearly like isn't paying that much attention. Knicks fans don't even like Stephen A.
Really?
They hate him.
That's funny. I'm gonna double down on my ratless the rain. So one thing that happens with the rain is the ground gets very wet. And so I'm driving a golf cart. I drive up the hill. Going down the hill. Brakes did not work.
Oh no.
So I'm going down and I'm starting this way. I'm driving, and I just go like this, Sam. Ready? YouTube listeners get it. I go, car turns 360. I'm going backwards now. I go, Mike, watch out. Because Mike's cart is directly behind us. Wham! Just right into the other cart. Not everything was fine, nothing broke. It was all good. We were all okay. But it was like that 10 seconds, terrified. I shook. So I was like, oh my fuck. And luckily Mike's cart was there, because if Mike's cart wasn't there, we would have flipped. Like our cart would have flipped. It was so bad. It was so dangerous. And I texted the group chat, like, be careful. Don't go up hills. Like the brakes don't work because of how wet it is. Like, just be careful. And they just laugh at me, which is like fair. And I go, I know it's funny. And yes, but like, I'm very serious. And like, you could see our skid marks. They made the shape of like a DNA strand because we went 360. And my friend Brian, who wasn't there, he goes, Jack, stop, dude. I'm crying. Did you guys exchange insurance? I'm like, fuck you, man. But ratless that, dude. I was so scared. It was, in hindsight, it's funny, but I was shook.
Neck brace Jack would have been a hilarious visual on the pod. Maybe I'll get a neck.
We're all right. We're all right. But it was very scary.
I'm in a rat list. I've bitched about this before, and it hasn't happened to the Celtics yet, so I'm not that upset with it. But if your team loses Game 6, don't do the best words in sports Game 7. You don't want to
people doing that. People doing that.
There are people that do it. There are people that do it when the Celtics lose. So there are people doing it. Celtics will lose a game 6. They're like, well, best words in sports, game 7. No, the team account did it 2 years ago. It's my pinned tweet. I was like, no, this is wrong. You lost game 6.
Are you gonna rat list the dressing for a funeral Knicks?
Yes, I can't believe I forgot about that. I tweeted it this morning. Has dressing for a funeral ever worked? Like not with like Celtics wearing black uniforms, like guys showing up to the game as a team, all wearing black street clothes. I don't think it's ever worked.
I don't know, but the Celtics did it in Game 7 against the Wizards, I believe.
No, they did it in Game 6 against the Wizards, and they lost.
I think they did it again in Game 7 or something. The only reason I say that,
if you do it to a Game 7, you have brain damage. You're just throwing up the alley-oop to get.
The only reason I know is because now whenever they play the Wizards, Taylor Snow wears a full suit, black suit, because it's funny. So that's the only reason I know. Shout out Taylor. But
Taylor Snow can get a pass.
Taylor's funny. I love Taylor.
Knicks wearing all black to that game yesterday. Real funny. Happy they lost. I mean, as always, happy they lost.
See you later. It's like somebody chanting, "We want Boston." Doesn't work.
Didn't get to watch the game live. Checking the score in the theater. It did put a smile on my face.
Speaking of the Bing Bong guy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hate the Bing Bong guy. Fuck that guy. Hope he had a horrible night yesterday or Saturday or Friday, whatever day. Speaking of Thanos, Celtics, I hope they don't have to do that. I'll do it myself to take out the Knicks. Like, there's a post-credit scene where Thanos grabs the glove and he's like, I'll do it myself. Hope they don't have to do that to get rid of the Knicks.
Oh, you hope they just lose. I see.
Yeah. It was just I just think it would be funnier that way.
I'm gonna rat list myself. Sam, thoughts on geese?
Do you know where my mind immediately went? Different animal. The episode of Curb where Larry kills the swan playing golf.
Yeah, I hate geese.
Did you have that today?
I hate geese.
Did you kill a goose?
I didn't kill the goose, but I step up.
Did you whack it?
My pitching wedge, instead of going really high, I missed it, and so it bladed and it went really straight. Hit a goose.
You hit a goose?
I hit a goose. I don't know if I got the wing or the leg, but it limped off, and you just hear as it's like limping across the fairway. Couldn't fly.
Wait till I tell PETA about this.
I felt so bad because I just hearing it limp off, and I
got those little legs too.
I hate geese, but I smoked that motherfucker.
Jack Simone, asshole and swan killer or geese killer.
I didn't hit it in the body. I think I got the leg of the wing because like it walked off all right. It was just limping, but I felt bad. It was bad. Also, to rattle myself again, I broke Henry's driver last night. We went to a driving range, and I swing it normally. Snaps hits me in the head. I had to buy a new one this morning. Terrible 24 hours for me. Crashed a golf cart, killed a goose, didn't kill a goose, hit a goose. Broke Henry's driver, had to buy him a new one. Disaster. Fucking terrible. Fucking terrible. Do you have anything else?
I feel like I should, but I don't.
I have one anti-rat list. Thoughts on blueberry donuts at Dunkin'?
We've talked about this. Great donut.
They have blueberry donut iced coffee now. It is the best coffee at Dunkin' Donuts.
A lot of these local coffee places have blueberry coffee cake flavor, like a brewed flavor. It's fire.
Blueberry coffee, Dunkin' Donuts coffee. It literally, like, it's the donut. It like, bar for par. I was so fucking good. I was just sipping during golf. It was like the one thing keeping me alive. I will say, best shower I've ever taken in my life when I got home. The warmth and the car ride home with the warm. I was fucking freezing. I like halfway through, or like a little before halfway through the round, I like had to take my quarter zip off because like it was so drenched that it was making me colder. And so I was just in a t-shirt. I also had to buy a bunch of shit there, and like forgot a hat, didn't bring a hat, needed new shoes because mine are terrible. Bought a bunch of shit. Disaster. I went in, I had to buy shoes, balls, and a glove because all my shit, I was like, you know what, all my stuff's like super old. I'm just gonna re-up. It's fine. Re-upped on everything. This guy was like, I should sell you a Mercedes too while I'm at it. Jesus Christ, he was making fun of me. And then I had to go back in because I forgot a hat. Dude just laughs at me. He goes, because he saw my ass coming.
He's like, welcome back. You should be like, is there like a discount, like a deal where I spend over $2 million and get something for free?
It's tough.
Rat list Devin. So we played MLB The Show today, co-op. we played against these two kids that were
Sad.
and the kids were like,
I don't think we can say that on YouTube.
Okay, bleep
I
me.
think I will. I think that's like one of 2 words we're not allowed to say.
Oh, wait. Oh, like we can't say that on CLNS?
I don't even know about CLNS, but Henry heard me telling the story. This is his driver.
Oh my God.
The paint stripped on the driver. It was how bad it was. Thanks, Henry. Anyway,
Anyways,
sorry, continue. Yeah.
The kids were like spamming the bunt button, so they were up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. They were pausing. They were doing all of it. Made us watch a replay on a home run. So we give up 2 runs the first inning. The way MLB The Show co-op works is you alternate pitching every inning. Devin was the host. He pitched first inning, third inning, and so on the odd number. So he pitched first inning, gives up 2 runs. We were on a heater. 6 first inning runs from us. 2 3-run home runs from me. I may have played my greatest MLB The Show game ever. Like I may have totaled for like at least 15 of our 20 runs.
Wow.
I'm going to say it again, 20 runs.
That's crazy.
Now, the reason he's on the rat list is because he may have totaled at least 15 to 16 of the opponent's runs as the pitcher. We were up, I want to say 10-3, went down, took a lead. We're now up 17-13. We blow the lead in the top of the 9th. 18-17. I hit 2 home runs in the bottom of the 9th to win the game. It was the most wild roller coaster game. This man, and he felt bad. Like he did. And it really doesn't matter if we won the game. It doesn't count for a record. 2 strikes. Taken deep for a 3-run home run to fall behind within the top of the 9th. We were about to win the game.
How mad are you? How mad are you?
I wasn't as mad. He was mad. He was here. Fuck! And then he like spiked something. He's silent for the rest of the inning. He's like, yeah, I spiked like my headset.
How hype was it when you all won the game, though?
He was like, thank you so much.
Yeah. That is so sick.
I was on a heater. I don't think I've ever played that well.
Look at this shit, dude. And it didn't even, like, this driver, it didn't even, like, this is the base. It didn't even snap there. It snapped, like, in the middle of the shaft. Like, crazy. I've never seen it.
Nothing worse
and, like,
than
the
a
paint
shaft
stripped
snap.
down. All right. Anyways, do you have any other rat list?
No.
I think that's it. All righty. Well, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Send us your rat list. Send us your thoughts on the Celtics. And I'll let Sam wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our daily uploads. We're coming at you with the full pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. You can find game recaps the morning after every single game. So we'll be back on Wednesday with the Game 1 recap. You can also find us doing Talking Sea streams Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the morning, tentatively. Suds the Roundtable is usually Tuesdays around 6 this week. Game 1 is Tuesday. We'll probably do it one of the other days, maybe Monday. And you can find us doing pregame live on the channel, half hour. Come hang out. It's a ton of fun. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. Tell us what you think. You can find us on not socials, Spotify and Apple. Subscribe there. You're going to get the pods and game recaps right into your feed. Leave us a 5-star review. Now socials at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook is just the name of the podcast. You can find our streams there. You can find them on YouTube. You can find them on Twitter. Jackster is at Jackson NBA. Mine is at Sam LaFran's NBA. It's it for us.